everyone. My name is Karina Neto. I am the digital marketing strategist for CareerSource Capital Region. And today we have two people from Gadsden County looking to talk about our youth. You'll hear about their story and how we can come together and bring more opportunities to the Gadsden area. So first we have one of our dynamic future specialists, Mr. Johnnie Pennick Jr. Hi, Johnnie.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. We're so happy to have you today to talk about our program, the local youth, and everything in regards to that. We also have Mr. Rivers here. Hi, Mr. Rivers.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. So I'm just going to go ahead and sit back, and definitely would like to hear about both of you, your experience, learn, and just what is it that we can do for our community.
Okay. All right. First of all, thank you, Mr. Rivers, for coming on with me and sharing this great experience and hopefully a great journey going forward here for Gadsden County and our youth. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you real quick, and you just give us a brief rundown of your background and what you've done and why we love Gadsden County as much as we do.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm born here, right here in Gadsden County. Born in Gadsden County, raised in Gadsden County. Parents are actually here from Gadsden County. And it's a pleasure now to raise my family here in Gadsden County. Penny, I want to thank you for inviting me. I think this is a very good opportunity to not only talk about, but be a part of anything that's going to help push this ship forward and getting I would say a smoother cruise for our teenagers and our young adults here in Gadsden County.
Much needed. Okay. Just a little quick breakdown of who I am. I am also born and raised here in Gadsden County. Coming from a background of parents that had a 3rd and 4th grade education, but what made me is that the community as a whole that took me in. My parents couldn't read or write, didn't have the education. They could count money and pay their bills. But for me to get an education here in Gadsden County, I'm glad to be one of the products of some of the greatest teachers and some of the greatest leaders here, and a lot of great people that have came from Gadsden County. Like myself, I raised 2 kids with muscular dystrophy and wheelchairs. Went through the public schools, learned everything they needed to do. Graduated, never missed a year. That was because of what was instilled in them, and which I think is the same thing that we need to instill in these youth these days. It's on you, Mr. Rivers. There, you can tell us about your programs and what you've done and what we can do to make Gadsden County better and how we can help these youth.
All righty. Well, right now, the biggest thing that I would say that I'm a part of, that's a vessel right now for the kids, is 2 things, well, 3 things. But the most important thing I would say is a foundation that I'm actually the chairman of, actually one of the founders. It's Good Kids Incorporated. It stands for, it's an acronym, it stands for Giving of Ourselves Daily Through Kind Interaction and Dedicated Service. And I told my wife that years ago when we first came up with that, if we was going to be that, then we got to show example. And as of today, I would say that 20 years plus volunteering here in Gadsden County, from coaching, mentoring, holding different events, doing different things to bring some different exposure, enrichment to a lot of these kids in Gadsden County. Another thing that I'm proud of too is the coaching aspect. I have been able to coach some of the most prominent talent to help come through Gadsden County in our generation, because you know how it is it's based on generations in Gadsden County. But I can truly say that I have been blessed to be a part of that, Mr. Pennick, and seeing the kids actually come through school, come to the rec center, go off, and now see them as parents. So that's one of the things that I'm truly and happy and honored to say that I have really coached and been a part of some real good, outstanding young citizens here in Gadsden County.
Yep. And I've seen the impact that you've made on the youth lives, even with the fishing tournaments that we've done and the different things we've done of that nature. One of the missing parts is that the program that we have here at Career Source Gadsden is that we have a youth program for kids ages 16 to 24. And that is the point of what we're trying to get out, to make sure that these kids know that there's an opportunity here for them by reaching out to them. We do work experience. We have several programs that can launch their careers that pay for not only the kids, but their parents also. Unfortunately, Gadsden's Career Source has always been known as the unemployment office. And when you have a lack of understanding, you lose a lack of knowledge. And there's a lot that has to be offered here. Dynamic Future, like I said, we're dealing with kids 16 to 24 with background barriers, launching them into their future. I've been working with youth since 2002, and I'm passionate about it. Actually, I started out in church working with youth programs, but my passion ended up working right here dealing with our youth in Gadsden. And from your perspective, Mr. Rivers, being that things have changed and we've seen it since we've grown up, how can we reach these young people here in Gadsden County, where they're at, and, you know, what can we do to get them in and get the parents educated on what's being offered here that can benefit their kids, and especially for these kids to understand they got a bright future. Gadsden County is a great county. Everywhere I go, I've never been ashamed to tell anyone where I'm from. I've been around people that may have said that, oh, I live right outside of Tallahassee, but when someone asks me where I live, no matter where I go, I'm from Gadsden County, and I'm proud of being from Gadsden County.
Yeah. Well, you asked one of the what can we do? You're doing it now. Coming up, I think is that the 11th?
Yes, we do have Expo coming up on the 11th. Yes, sir.
No, that is it. It's 2021. We're in a COVID times now. I hate to use the word pandemic. The Bible tells us about speaking things, but I just say we're in COVID times now. And during COVID
trying times is what I call it.
That's right. It's better than a pandemic, hey? And with the Expo, it's by Zoom. In the same way that we are communicating here today, same way we're conversing, we're doing it here on Zoom. Well, that's what we got to do with that age group from 16 to 24. And if you look at that age group here in Gadsden County, a young male or female from the ages of 16 to 24, that is a real good age, not only to introduce, but also to polish some of these kids' skills, because we have some natural talent here in Gadsden County. Some kids are born naturally with a gift to speak. We used to see that in our declamation contest. We see that some kids are gifted with being an athlete. But guess what? Athletes have a lot of money if they make it to the pro, but guess what? They need to know how to count their own money.
They got to be able to manage it.
That's why you got to be able to manage it. But what makes it so good to see what you guys is doing with that Expo and with the age group, I could truly say, with all the years I've been out here, that is the age group.
It is critical.
I was at the rec for years, and I know we stopped at 13 or 14 if a kid turned 14 after September. But after that, there was nothing else for a kid to do as far as organized sports or something organized in the community. But that age, 16 to 24, right here in Gadsden County, a lot of them are parents. A lot of them don't have the education. They don't have the job. And so if you don't have the education and you don't have a job, which leaves us with a lot of the decisions that they've been making, which what you would get headlines on. So I think right now what we need to do now is let many people as we can know what's available out there. Like you said, a lot of people think, hey, Workforce Plus right there behind Captain D, that's where I go and get a job. But they need to know the different services that's here right here in the community, the opportunities that are here in the community. So I think right now what we should be doing now is making the community aware of what's here available in the community.
Exactly. And we have programs that are covered through TCC and GTI, which eliminates some of the barriers of the county of not having the ability to transport or to get to Tallahassee. Um, Getting into it here, just some fun facts. Tell me about your first job, briefly. I can remember mine.
My very first job that I had was taking the books at Jackson Heights. I would take the books, and that was my way of getting my skate rank money.
I
And
know
not
what you
only
mean.
the skate rank money, that was giving me my chance. So even when I couldn't make it, I was in the right age. Trill still allowed me to travel alongside the all-star team. And
Mhm.
from my first job, I started coaching around the rec. I was 17 when I first started coaching around the rec. And when I started coaching around the rec, I started working at the rec. And I went from volunteering to doing the 2 hours after school program. And from the 2 hours of after school program, they made me what's called a rec assistant. I went from the rec assistant to the crew leader over the guys that was doing the field. And from the crew leader, I went to Parks and Rec supervisor. And that was all the way up until like five years ago. So that was my whole life. I stayed with my first
Yeah,
job.
that's
So
it.
my first job was in recreation. I stayed around that same recreation department pretty much my whole entire adulthood
Yeah.
and childhood.
My first, mhm. My first job, I'll never forget. It was Winn Dixie. You remember when Winn Dixie used to be on the hill by Farmer's Furniture, where Farmer's Furniture was?
I worked at Winn Dixie for a short time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was up there as a cart and a bagger, and the biggest mistake I ever made on my first day is this other thing about being in life, about being equipped and learning how to make adjustments. I had some hard bottom dress shoes on out there getting
Okay.
carts on a lot that was slope slanted. That was the hardest day on my feet, struggling. But after that day, I learned that I had to equip myself for what I was going to be doing. And along
That's right.
came JTPA with Gadsden. Used to build the office down there with a movie theater or movie time. We used to cut hair at. They gave me my first job at the school board, working over the summer. And from there, I ended up working for the company that used to run that program, was Paxson. So I did adult um, employment skill training, and then I did a youth program. So that's where I have been over the last 20 years of dealing with youth and adults, helping them change their lives and make things better. And most of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. We'll be sitting down, getting together, moving forward. And thank you for promoting our program and the expo that's coming up. And we look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
All right.
I thank you for the
And
opportunity, and I look forward.
yes, sir.